There is a single question that exposes Islam as a false religion.
Islamic Dilemma.
Islamic Dilemma.
Islamic Dilemma.
Watching Muslims try to solve the Islamic dilemma is a lot like watching a cat chase a laser pointer.
Yeah, watching Christians looking for absolute Quranic validation of their corrupted book while their own followers dismiss its inerrancy is like a wife starved of attention from her lackluster husband, convincing herself that the neighbor is checking her out every night.
Bruh, chill.
Sorry. In the name of Allah, what's wrong with you? Sorry, I didn't mean to cause offense to any Christian viewers who are not part of David Wood's cult.
That's not who we are. That's not what we're about.
But what do you want me to do? I know these chakke don't represent all of you, but they are your loudest voices against us. What do you want me to do about them? Play checkers? I have to fight fire with fire.
We will fight. We'll go back and fight.
Now, if you haven't watched my previous video, I already made a 40-minute debunking session where I martyred so many of my brain cells responding to the stupidity that is called the Islamic Dilemma. At the end of the video, I promised you all an analogy. The analogy to end all analogies. Before we kickstart those, let's first see all the main Quranic arguments these enemies of Jesus decide to use. You have nothing to stand on unless you observe the Torah, the Gospel, and what has been revealed to you from your Lord. Let the people of the Gospel judge by what Allah has revealed. Why do they come to you for judgment when they have the Torah? Do you believe in some of the scripture and reject the rest? If you are in doubt about what we have revealed to you, then ask those who read the scripture before you. Now remember that an analogy is still an analogy. It will not fit 100%. But the next time anyone brings up this Islamic dilemma argument in front of you, you bring up the Biryani Dilemma. But why do we need an analogy? Well, because
you give a poor man a fish and you feed him for a day. You teach him to fish. You give him no.
See, rather than let them dictate the conversation and define parameters so they make you go in circles, we need an analogy to just shut this down easily. And we need to make sure we are properly understanding what the Quran says about the previous scriptures. So, let's say your grandma makes the best biryani in the world. The spices just burst into flavors of delight all across your palate. You used to love it. Unfortunately, Grandma lives on the other side of the world, so you can't always enjoy her cooking skills. However, Grandma taught this recipe to her 4 kids who all now live in America: Matthew, Mark, Lukaku, and Johnny Bravo. Any similarities or resemblances are purely coincidental. They all wrote down the recipe for Grandma's biryani. So you had 4 written versions of the recipe. Let's call them the recipe of Matthew, the recipe of Mark, the recipe of Lukaku, and the recipe of Johnny Bravo. Your cousin from this side of the family, let's just call him Bob. Bob decided to compile all the 4 recipes into one file. Let's call it the Holy Bob. The Holy Bauble. Now, you started noticing that all 4 recipes have variations with one another, and every time you visit your uncle's houses, they claim to make Grandma's biryani. But this is the abomination they put in front of you. You're like,
what the hell is this? A'udhu billah.
This doesn't taste anything like Grandma's. How could you ruin the beautiful taste of biryani in all its oneness by adding this Nutella? Grandma never put Nutella on biryani. Oh, bro, it's 3 flavors in one. Abedafo. So you hit up Grandma on WhatsApp, and she sends you a complete video of her cooking the biryani step by step, explaining everything in detail. You follow the video and are able to make the legendary biryani. In the video, while showing you the correct recipe, she clarifies a number of things to her kids, sometimes talking to me, sometimes talking to them. Why are you refusing to put yogurt in the biryani? Do you follow some of the recipe and reject the rest? Why are they coming to you asking whether they should put any yogurt in or not when they already have the recipe that contains this detail? Say to them, "Oh, my uncles, you have nothing to stand on unless you uphold the recipe that grandma gave you. So let my children judge by what grandma taught them." Back in my day, we didn't have prepackaged spices. We had to grind and prepare them for hours. If you have any doubts, just ask your uncles. Now imagine your cousin Bob has a psychotic kid who smashed Bob's head in with a hammer. Let's call him Diddy. He comes and is like, "Grandma is affirming my recipe. She is affirming the Holy Bible. Look, Grandma says, do you follow some of the Holy Bible and not the rest? Grandma even says, why should any of us come to you when we have the Holy Bible? Grandma says to follow the Bible. She never says in the video that our recipes are corrupt. So you have a dilemma, my friend. You tell us to follow Grandma, but Grandma tells us to follow our recipe, the Holy Bible, which clearly says to add Nutella on biryani. But then you come and say Grandma never added any Nutella. So which is it? If the Holy Bible is not correct, then you are lying about Grandma by saying that she never added Nutella. If the Holy Bible is corrupt, then you are lying about Grandma because Grandma tells us to follow it. Either way, you are lying, so you are a liar.
We have the Word of God, Islam is false. If we don't have the Word of God, Islam is false. Either way, Islam is false. Therefore, Islam is false.
You won't believe it.
You lying. I know you lying.
Bro, you will not believe it. Come inside.
Nah. You lying, bro.
I'm not lying, bro. I'm lying, bro.
And you're like, Diddy, Buddy, Hijab, did you even watch Grandma's video? Have you ever even had Grandma's biryani back in Pakistan? Have you ever even been to Pakistan? Actually, you probably shouldn't go because if you go there dressed like that, you'll probably be having more than just biryani. This is such a magnificently pathetic effort to try and add Nutella into the biryani and justify it as Grandma's recipe. The logic falls apart before it even begins. Why would any chef with an ounce of IQ ruin the oneness of biryani by adding this 3-in-1 flavored abomination? Why would Grandma even make a whole WhatsApp video if the recipes of her kids were exactly the right recipe? If Grandma is telling us to follow the Bible, why would Grandma point blank in her video say, "The true recipe in my eyes is this video. Your uncles have knowingly changed things rather than sticking to the recipe. I have given to you this video in truth, confirming what your uncles had of the recipe, and as a criterion over it, and as a supreme authority over it. Woe to those who distort the recipe with their own hands and say, this is the original family recipe in order to commercialize my biryani. And indeed, there are some from among our family who alter the spice proportions because they're a bunch of weaklings who can't handle the spice. So you may think this is part of the original. Grandma even knows how bad the recipes of Matthew, Mark, Lukaku, and Johnny Bravo have gotten in the Holy Bible. She clearly knows what the Holy Bible contains, that she even says in the video. Do not add Nutella. Cease and desist, for it is better for you. How much more explicit does Grandma have to get to tell you it does not give a pass to the recipes found in here? I can keep going. You can keep adding layers to this analogy if you want. Feel free to keep adding on to it in the comments. Obviously, the analogy is by no means perfect. I mean, at least we know who Matthew, Mark, Lukaku, and Johnny Bravo are. Even after all of this, Diddy still comes and claims that Grandma's video is not real. It's AI that I generated because I hate Nutella. But even though Grandma's video is an AI-generated fabrication, it still affirms the disgusting Nutella recipes. Therefore, putting Nutella on biryani is exactly how Grandma used to cook her food back in the old days.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it. I award you no points, and may God have mercy on your soul.
Like, why would I even generate an AI video only to tell you to follow your recipe? That doesn't even make sense. If you didn't get it, it's like saying the Quran is supposedly from the devil. But then why would the devil be telling you to follow the Bible if the Bible is apparently God's uncorrupted word? This is just such a terrible argument.
Thing sucks!
Whenever anyone brings up the Islamic dilemma, you show them the Biryani Dilemma. Now, understand that analogies are still analogies. I cannot give you a 100% accurate analogy for anything that involves Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala because there is nothing like him. So, for example, I did not cover anything related to the point of none can change his words, because only Allah can guarantee that none can change his decree, his judgments, which is what the verse clearly means in context. Now look, I really wish I didn't have to make these types of videos. I'd rather make videos about Islam, rather than responding to trash arguments by trashy people. I would much rather see both Christians and Muslims have constructive dialogue with each other, rather than these useless back and forths on non-issues that these apologists conjure up in their desperation. So hopefully we can move to things that are bigger and better than these chakke. I really hope you enjoyed the video.